This week we are digging into supervised classification. So last week we looked at unsupervised classification, where the computer decided your spectral classes and assigned pixels based on the spectral signatures of your classes. In supervised classification, you still are doing a form of pattern recognition, but it becomes a multi-step process for the analyst. Instead of the computer identifying clusters of spatial similarities, you are going to be selecting representative samples for each of your land cover classes. These are called training samples, and they are going to be what teaches the software or your algorithm how to classify the rest of the pixels in the image. Those training samples are essentially those spectral clusters that unsupervised classification creates for you. So just to clarify, you are going to be collecting multiple training samples for each of your land use classes. The number of classes, the definition of each class, how you create your training sample polygons is going to have great impact on the success of your classification. Next, after you've done that, you will evaluate your training samples. This will make sure that you are not, that you don't have too many mixed pixels, or you don't have too many samples that are overlapping in their spectral signature. We'll look at examples of that in the module. Finally, after all of that, you will run the supervised classification tool and select your algorithm that you're using to classify the rest of your image and evaluate the results. A warning. Supervised classification is significantly more time and labor intensive than unsupervised classification. Please plan extra time this week to complete this module. Although you're doing supervised classification, you have 3 chapters in your textbook that you'll have to work through, from gathering the training samples, to evaluating the training samples, to actually doing the supervised classification. It's not as seamless as the process for unsupervised classification. So that's my biggest advice to you this week. Give yourself extra time. However you have to manage to find that extra time, you will need it this week. But the fun part is you'll get to compare your results of your supervised classification to your unsupervised classification of your Roanoke image and see how your different classification methods perform. If you have any questions, please let me know.